Hello, and thank you for joining us once again here at the Magic of the Mouse podcast for the week of February 3rd, 2020. On this week's show, Bill Jr. has all the latest Disney news, including Disney's big surprise at the conclusion of Super Bowl 54, and Disney's Tokyo Resort is taking more precautions against the new coronavirus. And we'll also be discussing my recent trip to Walt Disney World in Florida, along with changes coming to the Magic of the Mouse, so stay tuned.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are approaching our station at the entrance to Main Street, USA, gateway to the 17 lands of the Magic Kingdom.
Hi gang, it's me Tinkerbell, and I'm back from Neverland. I'm ready to listen to my favorite Disney podcast, and I would love you to join me. So grab your mouse ears and meet me down at the end of Main Street, under Cinderella's castle, for the Magic of the Mouse podcast, with your host Bill Guerrero and Bill Guerrero Jr. See you there.
Hello, and welcome back to the Magic of the Mouse podcast, episode 17. I'm your host, Bill Guerrero Sr., and joining me this week from Texas is my son, Bill Guerrero Jr.
Welcome back, everyone. A lot of exciting stuff coming up.
All right, Bill, why don't you start us off this week with the news? Like you say, I know you got a lot this week, so go ahead.
So the first thing I have to start off with is the Super Bowl. The reasoning being, we were all aware that Disney had a big surprise they were announcing during the game that involved the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And finally, at the end of the game, they unveiled they were donating $1 million to the Make-A-Wish Foundation on behalf of the MVP of the game, Patrick Mahomes. And to top it all off, for the first time, Disney invited a Make-A-Wish child, 10-year-old Nathaniel from Texas, to ride in the celebratory parade, plus experience some popular Disney attractions and have a day of fun. And other Make-A-Wish children are also getting their magical wishes extended by visiting the Magic Kingdom on Monday. Naturally, as soon as I saw it, I posted it on our Facebook page. I mean, just the whole thing was incredible.
I saw that at the end of the game Sunday night, and I was really surprised. You know, every year they always have the thing, you know, the MVP's going to Disney World. But when they announced that Disney was going to be also including a $1 million donation to Make-A-Wish, I thought that was something really cool. And I know Disney's really big with the Make-A-Wish Foundation. I don't know the total, but I know every year there's quite a few Make-A-Wish people that are kids or adults. I don't know what the age limits are on the Make-A-Wish, but I know they do quite a few every year, you know, go to the Disney parks.
Oh, yeah, they do hundreds every year. It's really incredible. They try to do as much as they can on behalf of Make-A-Wish Foundation.
I heard a number, something like 10,000. Now, I don't know. I can't believe that that's in a year. Maybe since Disney's been involved with Make-A-Wish, that's how many that they've, made their wishes come true was 10,000. I think that was a number that I heard.
Yeah, that sounds about right for a total since they started with them. Second thing on my list is big news coming out of Tokyo Disney Resort. Following the temporary allowance of cast members wearing sick masks, more precautions are being taken at Tokyo's Disney Resort in response to the coronavirus. According to the Tokyo Disney Resort website, Ariel's Greeting Grotto, already scheduled for closure on March 31st, has been indefinitely suspended. The official TDR website points to maintenance, but further reports on Twitter suggest that all face character meet and greets are currently suspended across the Tokyo Disneyland Resort. After the temporary closure of both Shanghai Disneyland and Hong Kong Disneyland, Tokyo Disney Resort remains the only operating resort in Asia. And with the popularity of Chinese tourism to Japan, the country is gearing up to ward off the spread of the disease. According to multiple tweets, cast members at the Tokyo Disney Resort were allowed to wear sick masks on stage starting January 28th. Next up, the happiest place on earth transforms into the most romantic for Disneyland After Dark, Sweethearts Night at Disneyland Park. Love will definitely be in the air during the special After Park Hours event, which includes unique entertainment, special food, one-of-a-kind photo opportunities, collectible merchandise, and more. While the event on February 13th is sold out, there are still tickets available for you to take your special someone on February 12th. Sweethearts Night takes place from 9 to 1 a.m. at Disneyland Park. Here's what Disney has planned for you on date night. A love song-themed dance party. The Golden Horseshoe will be transformed into Tempest Flight Celebration, paying tribute to Walt and Lillian Disney's 30th anniversary party held just 4 days before Disneyland Park opened in 1955. Encounters with Disney character couples, including Princess Tiana, Naveen, Hercules, and Megara, and of course, Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse. There will also be a Royal Princess Ball featuring Aurora and Prince Philip, Jasmine and Aladdin, Cinderella and Prince Charming, and others. We're also going to have limited time food, and a special fireworks extravaganza. It really sounds like a great idea for a special Valentine's Day celebration with your significant other. Now, to accommodate the Disney pin enthusiasts listening, the pins of the month for February have been released. In Disney World, on February 6th, the bi-monthly pin in the Disney Parks Cruisers collection features a Doom buggy from the Haunted Mansion, which sounds pretty cool. While the monthly Celebrate Today series celebrates Tell a Fairy Tale Day with the cast of Sleeping Beauty. Many Pin of the Month releases come out on February 20th, including First Order Scouting's Flame Trooper, Rise of Resistance Finn, and the R5 Droid Badge. Now, if animated characters are more your speed, check out the Croquet trading card featuring the Queen of Hearts, Professor Von Drake's letters and numbers in the cereal box line, while Minnie Mouse is the subject of February's contribution to the pin trading 20th anniversary set. If you're looking to let the good times roll, it's the day of the Mardi Gras 2020 pin comes out featuring Tiana and Charlotte. And rounding out the month of February, on February 27th, it's the I Collect series, which in February celebrates Disney villains. That was just for Disney World. Now in Disneyland on February 6th, the Celebrate Today Tell a Fairy Tale Disney pin also comes to the Disneyland Resort. And on February 13th, the Pin of the Month quarterly series featuring a vintage Mickey Mouse toy. February 20th brings two pins celebrating the 25th anniversary of the Indiana Jones adventure, with both a limited edition and an annual pass holder exclusive pin. In addition, the monthly Scratch and Sniff series features a Dole Whip with the Tiki statue from Disney's Polynesian Village Resort. There's one for you if you're listening, Dole Whip Dad. Along with the monthly Star Wars Galaxy's Edge pins featuring a TIE Fighter pilot and the First Order Reconnaissance series, Rose Tiku in the Resistance Reveal collection, and a Seeker in the Droid Schematic collection. The Mardi Gras pin trading 20th anniversary Croquet trading card and the cereal box pins are also coming to the resort on that day. February 27th brings the monthly Enchanted Emblems pin featuring Rapunzel and Flynn Rider. February 28th brings big events coming to both Disneyland and Disney's California Adventure with the premiere of the Magic Happens Parade and the start of the 2020 Disney California Adventure Food and Wine Festival. The parade now brings two limited edition pins featuring Mickey Mouse and one with Aurora, Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather. The festival pins include one featuring Pluto, Chip, and Dale, and an annual pass holder exclusive featuring Mickey Mouse and the chef's outfit, and a limited edition pin featuring festival and park iconography. Wow, that was a lot to read. There's always so many pins coming out. There's way more than that, but I just wanted to keep it to the most important releases of the month.
That's one thing, if you collect the Disney pins, you gotta pick and choose what you want, because they have so many options to pick from that you go crazy. And every time you go to a different location throughout Disney World, at least, that they have a lot of different pins. They don't have the same pins at every place, it seems, and there's always lots of choices, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's part of the reason why the Disney pin trading is so popular, because there's so many out there, and you might be walking up on somebody and you've never seen a pin that they have around their lanyard. It's really cool.
Yeah, last week when I was at Disney World, I grabbed a few to add to my collection. I don't, like we talked about before, I don't collect a lot, but I got one of the Disney World 2020 pins, and I got one for the Festival of the Arts at Epcot. They're the ones I usually collect.
And lastly, on Tuesday, January 28th, Disney Chairman and CEO Bob Iger was presented with the highest honor in the Television Academy can bestow, induction into the Television Academy Hall of Fame. It was in a ceremony at the Saban Media Center at the Academy's North Hollywood headquarters. Mr. Iger received his award from Kerry Washington, who starred as Washington, D.C.'s crisis manager, Olivia Pope, on ABC's top-rated 2012 through 18 ABC series Scandal. Washington celebrated Iger's conversions to playing it safe and for driving a business at Disney that creates possibilities for great. She noted, so many shows that seemed risky at the beginning went on to dominate ratings and our cultural conscience. Twin Peaks, NYPD Blue, and of course, Scandal. Bob helped to create a culture in television where we take risks, where we can be creative and innovative and step into our own greatness because he stepped into his. This is a great accomplishment for a man who, in my opinion, had an outstanding job throughout his career with the entire Walt Disney Company, not just being involved with Disney parks.
All right, now we want to get into a little bit about my trip that I took last week down to Disney World. It was a last-minute trip that I decided to go down. Every once in a while, I keep an eye on the air flights from New Jersey, from Atlantic City Airport down to Orlando, and this one popped up, and I couldn't refuse it. I got to go down for 5 days, and I think I paid $27 going down and $40-some coming back, plus paying the $20 fee for a bag to bring down. So you can't beat the price of the flight for that. So it was worth going down, and I was able to go down for the week and grab some more video for our YouTube channel. And then also, we experimented a little bit this past week. We did 3 live streams from the Magic Kingdom, Epcot, and Hollywood Studios. And they all seem to, go off pretty good. Obviously, our channel's not very large right now, but at one point we had like 14 or 15 people in the live stream. The main thing that I wanted to do it for was really to get the experience. I had never done it before, and it was a little tough at times when there wasn't a lot of people actually in the stream. Trying to keep talking when nobody's chatting, you're not going back and forth with anybody. So at times it was a little difficult, but it was definitely gained a lot of knowledge in doing it. The one day we did have a problem at Hollywood Studios. I lost the chat. Everybody else was seeing it and the chat was still going. And every once in a while I'd see it pop up in the bottom of the screen as part of the video feed. But like I said, it was live and learn for the 3 days, and it turned out pretty well.
I didn't think it turned out bad at all. I actually had a lot of fun. I was sitting in the house just watching it, moderating in the chat room, and I learned a lot from it. And just between texting you, be like, yeah, you're on, go, you're live, and people are watching. That was pretty funny. You were like, oh, we're good? We're good now? Oh, okay, let's go.
Yeah, I mean, at one point when I texted you the first day we did it from Epcot, it looked like I was live, but when I texted you and you said no, I wasn't on, so I backed out of the software and rebooted it, and that seemed to fix the problem, and we were all right. And then the next day, it just seemed like when I was at the Magic Kingdom, it went right on. So I guess it's just has to do with the phone connection or whatever, but it was a learning experience while we were down there, that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about. It did it at Epcot and when you're in Hollywood Studios, but at Magic Kingdom, like you just said, it fine. So maybe the next time you do it, it'll just pop right up. Or, I mean, at least we know how to fix it now, so it's not a big deal if a minute or two passes and behind our deadline of when we say we're going live. So it's not really a big deal going forward, and I'm sure we got better software and stuff.
That's definitely the goal in the future. From now on, every time I go down, we're going to schedule live streams from the different parks. And once we, I guess, get over the monetization or whatever on YouTube, then you can use their software for going live. And I have to find out, like, different people, what they use for their live streams. If they're actually going through YouTube or if they're using a secondary software. I obviously use the secondary software because we're not monetized on YouTube yet. But it was fairly easy to use. It just a little bit in the beginning getting on, but it worked out pretty well. And during the streams, the Hollywood Studios night, I was able to get a fast pass, and I was able to actually get on one ride, the Hollywood Tower of Terror. There was just a little bit of wait, but I was able to get on it. So during the stream, I was able to do a couple rides, which made it a little more fun, I guess, for the people that were watching than just watching me walk around the park.
Yeah, that was really fun watching you actually on a ride and, go through the queue and then hop on and get on the actual ride cars and roll through the Tower of Terror. And then when you guys were going up and dropping down, it was like black, and then you could hear people screaming, and then it would go up again, and then you could actually see out the doors as they open, and then it drop, and you hear people scream again, and it'd be black, and then you go back up the doors. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was a little wild in that. I mean, if you've been on that ride many times, and when you drop down, trying to hold the camera as steady as I could during that was a little difficult, but I guess it didn't matter because it was blacked out, so nobody actually really saw it. And once we got up and the doors were open, I had the camera pretty steady by then.
Yeah, it turned out pretty good. At daytime, it probably would have made me dizzy, but at nighttime, it wasn't so bad because we only really saw stuff, like I said, when the doors wouldn't go up that high.
And then we got lucky that night at Hollywood Studios. I scheduled the live stream for 6 p.m. Eastern instead of 5 o'clock like the 2 nights previous. And it was just to give any people that, that were working a chance to get home and if they wanted to watch. And that worked out better because I was able to do the Star Wars fireworks at the end of the night at Hollywood Studios. And that was a really good show. And I haven't looked back on it yet on the video of the stream itself, but that seemed to come out pretty good as I was filming that.
Oh, it did. I thought it came out great. It was just cool watching it because I'm a big Star Wars fan. It goes through everything with Star Wars, and it takes you through like a lot of different up and downs throughout the whole storyline, and then it circles you back around. I thought they did a really good job with the show. Yeah,
it was really neat. It was hard to, I'm sure, tell from, where you were sitting watching it on your TV or your iPad, whatever you were watching. But all across the Chinese Theater where the new the Mickey train ride is going to be, they were projecting all those onto the front of those buildings. And then if you were facing the building off to the right, as you go down to go back to Toy Story Land, the one wall of the building they were projecting on there too. So it was like gigantic movie screens.
Like a panorama show?
Yeah, it was really cool. Like the one picture would be on one part of the Chinese Theater. Next thing you know, it would be over on the wall over here. But they also had the sound keyed to where the projection was going. To my right, that one wall that I was talking about going towards Toy Story Land, you could hear the sound of that screen coming into your right ear. It was really good. I mean, the way that they had it stereoed and the sound of the characters from Star Wars speaking and all was really good. And the fireworks that go along with it were even great.
Yeah, I really enjoyed watching that live, and see you spin around, especially like you said, I could tell when the audio was shifting because you would turn to the right and do that screen. I saw BB-8 over there at one point, and then I guess the audio switched back to like center stage, so you turn back around and you're watching center stage. So now that you say that, it's making a lot of sense.
Yeah, well, that show, that was the first time I saw that show, and it was really good. And especially, like you say, if you're really into Star Wars, you'll really appreciate it. They go through the whole series of movies, and, you know, they show you bits and pieces of all the characters that were in those movies, and it was really good.
So now, besides the 3 live streams, what else did you get into while you were down there?
I did take some video. I put one video up on the channel already. I took video of the 3 Caballeros ride in Mexico, and I got that up. And I got a little bit of other stuff, but I didn't get as much as I wanted to. One day it was my fault. I got there and I had my good camera with me, and I was ready to take good video. Then I realized I had a senior moment. I got the camera all started up, got it all set up, and I'm ready to go. And I'm like, why won't the record button work? And I looked, and somebody left the hard drive for the camera back in the hotel. I have an Atomos Ninja V monitor that I put on the top of the camera, and, you know, an SSD drive slides in there, and that acts as your hard drive, and everything records to the monitor. So the monitor worked perfect. The picture looked pretty, but I couldn't hit record.
You're going to need to make a checklist.
Yeah, I thought about that when I was there. It was, you know, a little too late then. So luckily I took everything off and put it back in my backpack, and then I just went into picture taking mode. So between 3 parks that I went to, I got a lot of pictures. And one thing we're going to do now, I started this week on the Facebook page, we're going to do a picture of the day. And every day I'm going to put up a different picture from the park that I took. And the 2 that I put up so far, they really came out good. A couple of them I'm actually thinking about getting them blown up and for myself, and they came out really good.
What all new did you experience that you've never done before last trip?
Well, I've been to the Festival of the Arts one time, I think, a few years ago, the first year that they did it. And I wasn't there for a whole day, but I got to experience that. It was really good with the different art. And it's sort of like the food and wine also, because they, you know, have food and drinks in each country also. But the artists that were there, some of the art was incredible. And I got to meet Paige O'Hara, who was the voice of Belle from Beauty and the Beast. She has her art on display right next to France back in the World Showcase. I don't know if it was you had to buy a piece of her art or if anybody could just sign up to, you know, to do a meet and greet, but she was autographing, you know, pieces of art and all like that she had done, and people were coming up to her. I was able to just meet her. She saw me taking pictures and all, and she said hello, and I talked to her for a minute. But she was really nice and very good art too. And then I believe, Bill, I sent you a couple pictures or some video of the guy that did a lot of the Mandalorian art and Star Wars art. And that was back by Italy and Germany, right across from where the Garden Railroads are. That guy's art was incredible. That was really good. There was a couple pictures there I would have loved to have. The one was of Baby Yoda reaching and grabbing the little ball like he always does on the show, and the Mandalorian ship all the time, the ball that he likes to play with. So that was a cool picture. And he had a lot of good Star Wars prints and paintings and all too that were really good. But the one guy, and it was over towards Germany, the artist there that really impressed me, and it had to take forever for him to do these things. Well, these things were like on a little arch base, and then it depended. Like one of them was an elephant, one of them was a bear. The one he had painted out like it was a bear, but then he had a uniform on it like it was a Chicago bear. And then he had an elephant, and he had a couple other things. But they were kids' rocking horses that were totally hand-carved, and they were phenomenal.
Yeah, it sounds like one of those things where if you plan on buying something, you better make sure you have a lot of room in your luggage or a good plan to ship it back home, unless you live there. But yeah, some of the pictures you were sending me of that guy who painted Star Wars art, Jango Fett, and then in his helmet in the middle of the black, you know, where he's off, it had different pictures from throughout the original 3 Star Wars movies, like, you know, Luke Skywalker with Han Solo and Leia there, and then they had another one where he had Leia that was all chained up by Jabba the Hutt in the middle of his helmet. That was really neat. I would have loved to have one of those.
Yeah, that was a pretty popular booth. They were selling a lot of prints and paintings out of there. And I guess that goes along with the Mandalorian and the Star Wars, how popular they are right now. But that was definitely a good booth. There was a lot of good booths there. They had a interesting booth there with a couple of like bicycles, stationary bicycles set up outside, and with like a table in the front that as you pedaled, it would spin. I don't know if you remember if you were a kid or not, if they had it. It's called spin art, where it's like a little table and you put the paper down or whatever, and as it's spinning, you just put little drops, squeeze little drops of paint on it.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, they could do that there, and you can make your own spin art. That was pretty cool. And then they had an actual t-shirt printer up front that you could customize, and they would print anything on, Disney on your shirts that you wanted. And that was pretty sharp. I had never seen that before.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. I would have liked to sit down there with you to check out that stuff. So it looked like you had a lot of fun.
Yeah, Epcot was good, but the only thing that was a little bit disappointing, and that's to be expected right now. Since I was down there in November, they got more walled off. They do have the one half of the entrance when you first come through the gates. That's open on the left now. That's done. And on the right, where the stones used to be, where our picture was on the right-hand side, well, that's all walled off now, and they're redoing that. But then also, you can't go left of Spaceship Earth. That's closed off. And now they have the two alleyways that they made temporary walkways. One brings you back right in front of where the Guardians of the Galaxy roller coaster is going to be, the old Ellen's Universe, brings you that way. And then the other one brings you sort of just as you pass Spaceship Earth, or about even with Spaceship Earth, you take that new pathway and it brings you right out to Finding Nemo and the land and that part, because that's all going to be getting walled off now. You can walk back to where the tunnelway was to take you back to the land off to the right by where Starbucks used to be, but that's going to be closing off, and where the Pin Traders is in the middle, that's all going to be closed off soon. And they're going to tear the second part of that building down. Because now from November, they were just starting when I was there, but now Club Cool and the Starbucks and all like that building is completely gone. And I was able to get some video of that. I took the round trip the day I went to the Magic Kingdom. Before I actually went to the Magic Kingdom, I got on the monorail to Epcot and took video of coming in and out around the station. And I came back to the ticket transportation, and I stayed on again and went back again. And the guys that worked the monorail must have thought I was a little crazy just riding around in circles, but I was able to get some good video in that. We'll talk about that in a minute with the podcast on YouTube, and I was able to use that video. But yeah, there's a lot of construction going on, and Test Track was closed. That was one of my favorite rides there. I wasn't able to ride. They got that closed for about a month or so, and they're, I guess reloading software, or they're changing some things and freshening it up. But they must be getting close, because the day that I was there, I could hear some of the cars running when they come outside. So they must be testing some new things. So they must be getting close to reopening that.
How about when you were in Hollywood Studios? Did you go and do anything new that you haven't done before over there?
No, because that was kind of a last-minute thing. I was planning on going to Animal Kingdom, and I actually never made it to Animal Kingdom this trip. I was going to stay away from Hollywood Studios only because the new ride was open and kind of crazy. But I decided what the heck, I'll do the live stream over there the one night. And by 6 o'clock at night, the craziness had died down for the day, because you couldn't get any more boarding passes that late at night. They were all gone, and the signs were outside. So I went over there just to do a walk around. And I was, like I said, was able to get on the Tower of Terror. In the afternoon, I was able to get a fast pass for that night at 7 o'clock to Toy Story Mania. So I was able to do that ride and do it on the live stream. It was just mainly a walk around. I didn't even go back to the Star Wars land. I just did a walk around the rest of the park, and actually I was heading back to Star Wars Land, and that's when the Star Wars Nighttime Spectacular, or whatever they call it, the show with the fireworks, started. So everybody on the stream kind of voted for me to stay there and watch that, so I hung out and watched that.
I thought it turned out pretty good all in all. I mean, if it were me and I was going over there, I would have been staying there all day just to get on Rise of the Resistance and hit Smuggler's Run. I've heard a lot of great things about both of those, especially Rise of the Resistance. So I would have been there. My whole time would have been devoted to trying to get on that ride. Yeah, well, I've been there now. September, November, and then just back now. And I haven't been on either of the rides yet. I mean, there'll be plenty of time for it. I'll get on them, but I'm just not into those crazy crowds. And they're still at, you got to get there at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, because you can't get a boarding pass until you're actually inside the park, and they open it up, I believe, at 7 a.m. And you just got to keep hitting refresh on your My Disney Experience app. And if you're lucky enough to get one, you're good then, but you have to be inside the park, and I just can't see myself getting there at 4 a.m. to ride a ride. Yeah, that's pretty wild. By the time I go, it'll be all died down, and I won't have to deal with it. But. Yeah, hopefully they'll have new rides open by then. Guardians of the Galaxy and all like that will be open. So, that'll be the ride of choice at the time. So, yeah, hopefully next time I go down, I'll try and get on it. When you were in the Magic Kingdom, did you do anything new in there, or same stuff?
pretty much did all this, same stuff we always do. The one thing that I was able to do on the stream, I got on the People Mover, and the main reason for getting on the People Mover was for the stream so everybody could see how far along that they're coming with the new Tron roller coaster. And right outside of Space Mountain, they have two of the ride vehicles that you're going to ride when the Tron opens. And they're really sharp looking. They're like a motorcycle that you lay forward on, and then a back comes down and surrounds your back to kind of hold you in it. So they were pretty cool. And then after I got off the People Mover, I took a walk down by the Barnstormer roller coaster and around the backside of that, and was able to get some good video back there from the backside of the Tron roller coaster. And they're starting to close it all in now. And they probably got half of the main building, I'd say, is closed in with paneling or the exterior walls. And now what they're doing is they're pouring all the pilings that are going to support the half a dome structure that goes over the track that's outside now. It's not going to be completely enclosed, but it'll have like a sort of like a dome over it, and that's all getting ready. And they probably had half a dozen or more of those pilings already up, and I guess in the near future you'll probably start to see the skeleton work for that going up.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. I was looking at pictures of their grid cycles that they made as the ride vehicles, and it kind of got me wanting to watch the newest Tron video. So I showed Robbie it for the first time, and he was like watching it the whole time. He's like, didn't take his eyes off the TV. It looks like a really cool ride, especially going inside and out and going through the grid and all that stuff. That I want to check that out when that opens too.
Yeah, now one thing I didn't know about that until this trip, I was talking to a couple people while I was down there, and supposedly the Tron ride in Disney World that they're building now isn't as big as the original. I believe the original's in Tokyo, if I'm not mistaken. And supposedly that ride is actually bigger than the one they're building now. Now, I don't know if it's because they had less space and, where they put it at the Magic Kingdom. That could be it, or I don't know what it was, but that's what I heard, that supposedly this is a little smaller than the original.
It could be a space thing, or it could be they changed the design around a little bit and tweaked it, trying to make it better from Tokyo's design. Of course, you don't want to make the exact same ride. You kind of want to model it after your audience. So anything that they build in Tokyo or China or Paris is going to be different than they build in Orlando or Anaheim. So it's all dependent on who your audience is.
Yeah, well, we'll see. And I believe it's supposed to be open not this year, but sometime next year in 2021. We'll see. They're definitely making progress. And then the other thing that I was still a little disappointed in, they don't have the Disney Railroad back running yet. And the last time I went down in November, the train was still parked out in front as you entered the Magic Kingdom at the train station. But this time they got it all the way in the back in Fantasyland at the station all the way in the back by the Barnstormer. And I don't know if that's because they're going to be repairing some of the track up there now. They don't have all the track laid yet, like over behind Space Mountain. They had that all tore up, and supposedly it's going to be a tunnel that I guess they're in the process of still building that. The train is actually going to go through a tunnel under the Tron roller coaster. I guess that's a little while before they're going to open that up. Hopefully the train will be opened up sometime within the next year or by the end of this year. That would be nice because I missed that. I always enjoyed the train ride around the park.
Yeah. Did they still have it open for like photo ops and stuff so they could go out there and take pictures of the kids or pictures, with the family up there?
I don't know in the back. They might, because I only saw it briefly, but I know in November when I was there up front, they had one of the conductors there, and, they would talk to you about the train and get on and take pictures. So I would imagine they're still doing that in the back, but I wasn't back there long enough to actually see it.
Oh, okay. Now, my final question for when you were at the Magic Kingdom. Did you do Magic of the Mouse Ice Cream Challenge?
Really? You got to ask? Seriously?
I had to. We had to talk about it.
Yeah. Of course I did.
All right, so walk us through it.
Well, it was a little disappointing at first. I got there in the morning and I made my customary left to go into Adventureland, and I wanted to get the Citrus Swirl first, and there was a line, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. It's not hot out. Why is there a line for the Citrus Swirl? And so I bypassed that and I went on and I did a couple rides. I went to the Tiki Hut, saw the show there, and I came back out and the line died down a little bit, so I got in, and it was like 20-minute wait to get the Citrus Swirl, but it was well worth it. I was able to sit down there by the Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse and enjoy my Citrus Swirl, and while I was doing that, I kept peeking over to see what the line looked like for the Dole Whips, so it didn't look too bad. So once I got done with the Citrus Swirl, I took a walk over and got my Dole Whip and got that out of the way. And a little later on in the day, you know, once I walked around a little bit, I went over and did the 2 more. Did the anti-gravity, got my hot fudge sundae, and later on in the afternoon, after I got done the live stream before I left, I guess that was about 7:30, and I was able to go into the ice cream stand at the end of Main Street. And I got my Mickey kitchen sink there. So all in all, it was a good day. Good rides, good live stream, and good ice cream.
You end up walking back to the park instead of taking the bus?
No,
Or walking back to the hotel?
No, I took the monorail back to the transportation center and took the car back, but I was doing good because there was a little spaced out. You know, I did the other ones earlier in the day, and then I did the Mickey kitchen sink. That was later at night, so it all worked out pretty good. So I can't wait. I'm keeping an eye on flights right now because we talked with Dole Whip Dad last week, Jeff Bates, that he's going to be down there in second into the third week of February. So I'm keeping an eye on flights. I might try and pop down for a day or two, and might have to, you know, take him up on his challenge that he agreed to.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. You're going to have to live stream that if you do.
No, if not live stream it, we'll definitely video it and put it up on one or both of our channels, if we do it. But he took the challenge, so, you know, at one point, if not this trip he's down there, the next trip I'm going to meet up with him. But I am looking at flights if it's possible, even if I have to go down for the day. He tells me what day he's going to be at the Magic Kingdom. I'll go down for the day.
Oh, man, you're committed about this, huh?
Yeah. Well, the flights from Atlantic City work out good because you can leave at 6 in the morning and you're there by 9. You know, you could be at the parks by 10, and then the flight doesn't leave until like 9 o'clock at night. So plenty of time to hit the park for the day and, get back to the airport.
Wow, that's a lot just to go on an ice cream crawl.
Hey, all in the name of ice cream. And plus, Jeff took the challenge.
Yeah, that's true. Can't back down from the challenge.
No, so we're going to hold him to it, that's for sure. The next thing we're going to get into is something that I hinted about a little bit ago here. We were just talking about it. Some of the changes we're going to make to our YouTube channel. And a couple people asked when I was in some of the live streams of Dole Whip Dad's live stream, and they were talking about our podcast. They were asking if I was going to put it on YouTube. So this weekend, the 2 podcasts that I did with Dole Whip Dad, or that we did with Dole Whip Dad, I made videos up to it with the podcast going, and I put them up this weekend, and so far they've done pretty well. I'm pretty pleased at how they've done. We only have like about 115 subscribers to our channel so far, and they both done very well. I made up some boards just to show on the TV, like when Bill was doing the news. I got a clip or a photo or something to show what he was talking about, and then there's pictures of us during the introduction, and then a lot of the video that I took when I was down there, kind of like B-roll type video for making videos. I kind of played that, while Jeff was talking or while we were interviewing Jeff. So you got to see places around Disney World while we were talking. And it came out pretty good, I think, for the first time trying to do it. So we're going to probably try and do that from here on out until someday, hopefully soon, that we can actually do the podcast live or either tape it and put it on YouTube. That's the plan in the future. But in the meantime, that seems to be a good way. Everybody seemed to like it that had comments or emailed me.
Yeah, I thought that came out extremely well. You did a great job with the intro, and then, like you were saying, clipping everything together to be kind of relevant with the topics we were talking about. That way, what you were watching wasn't just a static picture of like our logo the whole time. It was something kind of immersive to get you visually seeing what we were talking about. Or if we weren't even really talking about anything remotely relevant, we just had, like the Jungle Cruise on in the background, a video of that, or this, that, and the other, and I thought you did a great job with it.
I appreciate it. Yeah, that came out good. And like I said, when I was like talking to Jeff, and if we were talking about the DizTube, and I used his logo or his thumbnail from his YouTube channel for that, put that up there so people could associate what we were talking about. And the same thing with his other 4 shows. So I did that along the way during the video, and I don't know how each video is going to come out every time we do it because, I don't know if I want to keep I only have so much video of the parks right now, and I don't know if people are going to want to see the same videos over and over. So we'll see how it goes right now. Maybe I'll just do special podcasts to put up there, like when we have guests like Jeff, or if I have enough, I'm going to definitely try this one and next week's and putting them up. And then we'll just go from there and see how it goes, see what the feedback's like.
I'm working right now to try to get a little bit more knowledgeable on the whole Adobe Creative Cloud platform, not just Photoshop, with the video editing software and everything you've been using. I'm starting to dive into it now so I can help you out, come up with some ideas, take some weight off your shoulders with this whole editing process. But I'm getting into it briefly, and there's a lot. Like, there's so much involved with the film editing in Adobe. It's unreal.
The Premiere Pro, that's been my learning curve. for the last couple months. Now, this last couple videos, I'm starting to get a little better at it. And the one problem that was driving me nuts when I was making the videos and I was watching them back on the computer, the videos themselves looked great. And then I would set it to render, and I would render them out so I could upload them to YouTube. And then when I did, they were all pixelated and choppy, and I couldn't figure out what it was. And I kept Googling, and I have this one book that I have for Adobe Premiere, and I changed one setting. I wound up putting it in the search on YouTube, and somebody had done a video, the better settings for 4K video for YouTube for uploading. And I changed one thing in the rendering, and this last video, the video came out like it was shot in 4K and perfect. So hopefully going forward, they're going to get a lot better. But that's definitely a hard program to learn. Like I said before, I can get my way around Photoshop. The Premiere, it was all in the dark to me.
Yeah, and it's incredible with all the different tabs and pages that you can go into with that. All it was like clicking one box, and that fixed the problem, and you had no idea where it was because there's an incredible amount of different tabs and drop-down menus and switches in there.
Yeah, it wound up being the one thing, at least for this video anyway, there's when you go to export, not to get in too technical here and bore people, but you can either set it to a variable bit rate or a constant bit rate. And this time I set it to constant bit rate, and that seemed to do the trick. So I'm going to use that for the time being and see how the future videos come out. But I was a little more pleased with the second the Dole Whip Dad podcast. When I put that to video, that came out a lot better. Well, that's all the time we have for this week's show, but we would love you to be a part of the Magic of the Mouse throughout the week. So be sure to check us out on our various sites. For all the latest Disney news, visit our website at www.magicofthemouse.net. And you can also follow us on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just do a search for Magic of the Mouse and be sure to like and follow us. You can also follow our Magic of the Mouse TV channel on YouTube. There we are posting videos of the Walt Disney theme parks, along with video versions of our Magic of the Mouse podcast. So please subscribe and click on the notification bell to be notified when we post new videos. We hope that you will join us again here next week back at the Magic of the Mouse. But until then, remember, it all started with a mouse.
Well, Musketeers, that's about it. Tomorrow, a big special show. See you then. Bye, everybody.